Hello everyone, my name is Ashutosh Kumar and today we're going to talk about the how to create function. Before going that, we will understand the two topic in detail that is called argument parameter. So let's first explore what we know the inbuilt function. We saw so many inbuilt functions built built in like we have max is a built-in function. Bin is a built-in. We have int is a built-in. We have a string as a built-in. We saw as a input is a built-in function. These are the predefined by the programmer. Sorry, the Python it's they have inbuilt function. You should not going to use this key. The print is a itself is a built-in. To start your programming built-in, it's already predefined. But maybe there is a limit. You saw, I already show you the list of the building are almost 78. Some figure within 100 we have building that we're going to explore by usage. How we going to day by day we expertise in this. So we're going to try to use all the functions what is built in. We are here today. We're going to see how we can create our own function. I want to create a function. This is very important because we are networking and we have our own customized function we going to use again and again, repetitive work. So we supposed to know how to define my function, and as you are calling the input or print function, they do the specific work for you. Same way I will call my function as many as time I want. Okay, period guys. So why it's a function? So function going to dry your code. Dry is terminology. Dry your code means if you have like 10,000 of code and you going to use the very efficiently function, you have to call that function instead of writing the entire code. So it's going to minimize your code to process because you are calling multiple function. So instead of 10,000, it's become 1,000 or 500 of code because you are your function, your code is enriched with the function. It's going to dry. What is the full form of dry? For me, don't repeat yourself. Just you do once and call them. Create a function. No need to repeat and again. Your code going to repeat because once you code that's solved. Okay, so we will today we're going to explore that. So before going that, you should understand documentation. If we write, suppose the important function is that you have wrote almost, suppose you have created, you started writing 5 functions. One day you reach 10, then another day you started writing 100, and you have thousands of functions. You customize, you created because of day to day you want to use. So if there is no documentation at the level of, you will confuse what you have created, you have not created. Document is important. Not only your function what you have created locally to you with you, even though if you want to know what is built-in function, documentation is important. Don't you think about that? Documentation important. What I have created also. So you should know once you created, how do you know what is used for that? So every function you have to define meaningful something. Multi-liner comments. Multi-liner comments. So this is used same way any built-in function also they have that, have defined all the like max function. These are built-in, but they have already defined. So how do I use those documentation? There is called help command, called help command, or second called print document. Print. So let's explore this. Then we will start defining. Should I explore that? I'm going to go to the terminal and I'm going to this get another. I will leave this test two folder have created here new file document. I want to explore my any inbuilt function, what they say. There I want to do the documenting. So I know we have inbuilt functions like max, print, sum. These are the input. These are the well-defined building functions. So let's use the help command to get understand or explore any function which is predefined inbuilt, or we're going to use for custom. We're going to see the document. So here I'm just going to use I use just now input. I want to see the help command. So I give that, they printed that. How the this is built-in function. This module is not custom. And what they do, read the string from the standard input, trailing the new line to the prompt string, the given printed standard output without the trailing new line before. Whatever you are giving the trailing new line that going to print, then they will ask you the, and if the user hits control D, control Z return, it will come out. That means they are telling the prompt the string they will use. Same way for other inbuilt function like max. Max will tell about max. Max what they do? They do the iteration of the quantity, whatever the arguments want to you will give, iterate that. What do you mean by this star argument? It's variable argument. Star means wildcard. On using the numbers of variables argument. Okay, they will return you with the largest argument. This function return with largest argument argument whatever pass, right? X. Same way, mean if I'm going to help command going to code you instantly about that. So they will return with the smallest argument. Clear? You understand? Now let me show you the other method for the document, that is called print document. The document. So suppose I want to print, disable this, and I'm going to print and call that inbuilt function. Suppose I want to print the max, then call dot as a method and as a doc as a method, documentation as a method. Same thing they're going to print for as we are printing help command. So I'm looking for the max as a function, their documentation. So here the print documentation, they are telling documentation. So there is two way you can use for anything, like you want to you can use this documentation for print, for print, because print is a function I want to see documentation. this. So print function, how they start, stop, plus. So you understand how do I explore, I will know about my here guys. I move the
Yeah.
function. Okay. So this is the document. This is a two-way where we can explore the any document regarding the now. Define the function. Just define. So what are the parameters we use? So for define the function, we have to use the key called def. And def is nothing special key which give you see the syntax is changed. The def means this key define any function. Define. So I will define ef is nothing. Always you have to use whenever you want to. Then followed by the name of function. So this is my function. My func. My function. Just I given any name what you want to give your function name. But you have to use this name again to call that function. Whenever you will use this name, have to this name specs. Especially you should not use whenever you define your function. Then give the parameter. I will start most basic function without any parameter. Empty. Close. So this is find your. This could be any name depend upon your function. So I wrote my function. Now let's see. After enter, you can see they will take automatic space. Some green means once you define your function, you have some purpose of that function. Okay, so this is the first thing documentation. Whatsoever you create your function, you have to document. So let's document. How do you document? The multi-liner document. So always you do as you do this returns will come means you started with the definition, so you define your returns, you define your function. This is again this is only comments. It's whenever you're going to go for help or print the documentation, they will print this stuff, they will print that stuff here guys. So let's define this is my first. Okay, return nothing to return. I'm not going to return anything. Just print. Nothing to return. Just the most basic function I just created. Nothing to just print. Just to print. So I created one function and most basic function I don't do anything. Just I print anything I want. I love Python as a network. Just anything I wrote. Show you. Just I printed this and I want to show you you can write a function for any level of complexity or any level of simplicity. People are thinking whenever you write function means it's supposed to be big. Of course it's supposed to be big, there is meaning and you have to recursive. So I want to print this and I don't want to write as many as many. time, just I want to call my. So that's your function is complete. Nothing, I did not return anything. Just I defined my function, and you have given some objective to the function. That's all. That's your function. Let's run this. What will process
I,
finish with the
I guess there was a error. Green check mark was not there, so might be
no,
some error
that
with the.
error is informational. Quick warning means you are not a good developer. I will come on that. See, weak warning will be there means this is not the right way to write the code. They are telling there is a something, but the format wise everything. If there is a red, then only you understand your format is okay. Weak warning means you are not a developer. Okay, I'm not a developer. We developed writing is. You can click here and you can see the syntax wise all the problem they will print. What are the problem? Why it's a warning. Warnings for you have to next configure inspections. You can see what are the configure. We'll come on that. Leave it. So the weak warning you can ignore. That there is no error in it. Means this function working fine, but they are not returning anything because I did not call my function. So more important, you have to call your function. Means I'm going to write my func I just defined. You can see how a smart compiler they are telling, oh, this is the function. It's a customized function defined by the defined already. Just I call my function. I'm not going to do this. I just let's execute this. Now I love Python. I will call multiple time this. I will call multiple time this. So this will going to be the same output with that many time. So it will stop again and again. Same thing you want to do. You need code again and just call your that word. Simple meaning of that. There is nothing. Yes, I will come with the complex. Believable. So what are the first basic concept? Working function define, customize or inbuilt. Build is well defined. Customize I can do table of small function or show grid function just to dry out my command, sorry, my code into all this real time again and again. Stop repeating. Like once I do the telnet, whenever we are writing something, just I call the telnet function rather than tapping whole code of tel. Are you understand?
Yep.
Thank you. So this is a very simple basic. Now documentation. Let's check the documentation. Calling. I want this my function having documented or not. So how do I know? Suppose I created the multiple function, okay, and I forget what function do what. But while I'm creating my function, I have defined my comments within the function. That's going to help you to retrieve your function because those are not built in. That are not documented anywhere by the Python because that created by you. You should the proper document. Once you do the proper documentation, you can get help whatever you have created. Like I created my func. I have created my func, and you should not use the parameter behavior. Just you have to call your func out. The, what is the purpose of this? You can state here. My func, this is my first function, return nothing to Can you see the help command going to help you what you have defined? Sagar. Okay, guys, understand how the
Yeah.
documentation help you to understand how much function you have defined, what's the use of that function, rather than getting confused. And so you will create the whatsoever the name and you will forget to need the property. So this is one way help, and the same way you can do for this print doc. Keep these two document document twice because I call the help command as well as the print document. So once for the command. Do you understand how the documentation is important while you are creating the function and function do the things repeating? Just call that function. Just you are calling this one, entire stuff going to create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's understand the next stuff. There is something called drop. Okay, so
I'm
next,
here.
yes. So here we saw the documentation how easy, even though your own defined function, all the documentation or help command you have properly defined. You very useful. Always, whatever you create your function, you want to use repetitively. The organization later on have to document because this is not a building. Okay, even building functions are well defined, well, uh, well commented. Now come to the function. Here you can see that I did not pass any parameter, right? Disable. Should I move to the next topic? Now I'm going to talk about the parameter and argument. Yes, no.
Sure.
If you
Yeah.
understand, tell me yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Try with now. Okay, so here understand I did not pass any parameter here. There is no parameter defined. So the function without parameter. So I can call my function without parameter. I can call without parameter and this going to do their work. I love Python as a network engineer. Suppose I going to pass the parameter here. What going to be name error? That's it. The error is important. You should not get error. So let me see. I want to print the error. What is you can see the name is not defined. They are not talking about any parameter, any argument. So before going that, this is called parameter, this is called argument, where it's defined here, that is called parameter. What do you mean? Then we'll further. Any function, any function which defines my function. If passing the values like a, b, c, any numbers, okay, anything, this is called parameter. What is called parameter? If we define by the function, whenever this parameter passing any value with respect to their parameter, that suppose a equal to 10, I pass the value 10 or 20 or any value I pass, that is called a, that is. So you understand the difference. The parameter defined by the function, when we pass those parameters some value, either a string or anything, that is called a, that's a difference, very slightly different. So what is the parameter? How then? So parameter defined by the argument. Whenever you will see any function, they use not as a parameter keyword, they use as a keyword argument. What argument? Okay, so let's come here, we going to code here. This not going to, they are telling name is not defined. As for defined, there is no name is defined, that's why they check this. So because your function is originated without the parameter. So let's define the parameter. Print a parameter a, just I'm going to pass one parameter a. So we have to define the parameter. You can see the color of the a is disabled because there is no definition is there. Okay, so we have to define this parameter within that function, then only parameter going to find, otherwise there is no meaning of parameter. Okay, let me complete this. F is print first or argument, or we are passing the equal to giving. As soon as I'm going to pass this, define this parameter, you can see color has was disabled, now it was. Suppose I'm not going to define this, not going to gray out and commented out this, and if I'm going to run without, I have passes the parameter but not defined within that, and if I'm going to run this code, we have called positional argue wide one. You understand, means if you are having one position, so let me remove this layout, have defined this. Once I will, they need the positional argument. So we have how many type of argument? We have positional argument, we have keyword argument, and we have default argument. We will understand this argument very well today, so that we're going to frequently use this in upcoming classes. Then we have extra, that is called star argument, that's a variable arguments. And then we have keyword arguments with the double star. We will see these are the two advanced topics in upcoming classes. Today we will explore this one. So we have positional argument, we have keyword argument, we have default argument. So this is a positional argument. It's defined by the argument a. They will not accept the calling function without argument. Means what? You have to just pass the value of a. Okay, this is the parameter here defined. Pass the argument here. So I'm going to pass the argument 10. Just I give value that argument. Let's the first print first argument 10. The print. Are you understanding, guys? What do you mean by positional? Means whatever the positions you have. Let's understand, if I have asked those two parameters. Let me define this second parameter. Second argument. I will use it later on. We will see. If suppose I have two parameter here, positional, position first, second is here. I'm defining only one what they have given the error for the positions. Positions argument B is missing. We required one more position argument. Try to understand whenever you are coming with the error with the positional argument means the parameter has defined somewhere, we are missing with the positional argument means I have to pass, like I give 10 and 5 going to print as a positional argument. Suppose I will swap this, why it's called position. Suppose I swap this 5 and 10 because of the argument map to not a to first or second, this will be swapped because their position is changed. So this argument, the parameter, is well defined by their positions. Once you pass the value this, you can 5 is you understand the position. The position, whatever the secure you are passing in your function, the automatic secure. That's why this is called position argument. Questions?
I'm good.
Okay. Now next called default argument. What do you mean by default? As the name said, default, some argument defined by the function itself. So this is the function which I called, but the function built and they define himself some value, right? I created some, as you can say, complex formulas while we are doing uh, some radioactivity theories. So in that some assumptions studies +2, there is some variable which have constant. Suppose here c is a constant and we have to define some value as a, or I'm defining the whole one just for sake for information. We will show you the how to use later on, but just for I want to show you the default argument. What do you mean by default argument? The third parameter. Guys, if you are expert, understand parameter telling you by your very very easy. Suppose I have defined here the in the itself in the function inbuilt they have defined that is called default argument. Okay, that is called default means here c is a default argument. Let me print I have passes only the two parameter. Okay, we have passes the two parameter, third parameter they're going to consider as a default. So you can see third parameter they have already printed in to pass the two parameter. Astos, if I'm going to pass the third parameter, like instead of triple one, I want triple two. What going to be happen? It will give you error. Yes, anything will
It
give
will
you error.
consider, I guess, triple one.
If
Yes,
we
I guess
consider triple
because
two,
we have defined
Yes, because of this is the default. They are telling this is default value. You can define anything. That's why it's a parameter. You can pass any argument. Always the if anything defined as a parameter that can be assigned any argument. That's why they are defined. But they have, if you're not going to define even, they will not throw you error because they have default value. Let me show. If I am going to pass this, so instead of triple one, it because this is default. If you're not going to pass even, they will consider that is the value. Now let's define one more parameter. There is a, I want to show you there is a limitation of this default parameter what. Suppose I define the C and then later on I'm going to define as another parameter. The fourth parameter, fourth argument B. Okay, now I'm going to pass. Tell me this triple two is going to take, is a is going to take by 5, B will be 10. Tell me C will be triple two or D will be triple. What will be? Okay, let's check it out. So there is a syntax error. They are telling non-default argument follows default argument. There is no rule. The default argument can be follow the non-default. There is written non-default argument follows the default argument. Means this is the non-default argument. Sorry, this is the default argument which is going to follow the non-default argument. Can't non-default argument never follow the default argument? Means whatever the non-default argument you're supposed to define before the default argument, otherwise it will, even though you're going to pass the parameter here, as to just pass the fourth parameter, okay, even that not going to take care. Even we have all the four arguments because the default parameter can't be followed by, sorry, non-default parameter can't be followed by the default one. Means the simple sentence, you have to define default parameter at the end of the all parameter, or you can define all the non-default parameter before the default parameter. Like here, default parameter is C and D. Okay, here are the default. Now they have defined non-default parameter for the default parameter. They now,
So at the okay, so we have already defined at the first the C as in triple one, D as in 4 times 1. So at the last, if we remove this triple two and triple four, still it will print that value
yes, they will print the default value. Suppose I pass only
because
the
we have.
two parameter, the default parameter. But
Okay,
my concern, you
sure,
can't
understood.
define any non-default parameter
Yeah, that
after
I
the
understand.
default parameter.
Yeah, okay, so first we need to define the default one.
Ah,
After
no,
that only we can define
non-default
the
one.
non-default.
First you define
Yeah,
the
okay.
all the non-default, then whatever the default parameter you want to define, you can
The
define.
default.
Okay, that's the syntax.
Okay.
Clear? So you understand the positional argument, you understand the default argument. Now there is called keyword argument. Okay, so here keyword argument is not related to built-in function. This is related to calling function. So who is calling here? Who is calling here? Here, this is okay. So let me do just remove the parameter abc. Okay, if I'm going to pass only two parameters, there is not defined. So what going to be happen? Going to give you the error. Are you agree? Positional argument C and D missing, right? Okay, how you can define this? The keyword
Yes.
parameter. So we have to find the parameter, all the parameter, like all the four parameters they required all. This is called positional. Now your question is keyboard argument refer to the whatever the positions you want you can define without following this position. Means you can play with these positions. Okay, this parameter can be play with the position. Means I want to define first this, then this, then this, then this. I don't want to this position one. In order to be flexible to define your parameter, you can play with the keyboard argument. What is called? Or you have to pass in the node parameter. I'm going to define five first parameter. Suppose second parameter is 13. Third parameter, I instead of third parameter, I want fourth parameter. Fine, equal to. Then I want to define the going to accept or not. That is argument. You can see first they took the positional first two, and third and fourth they are taking a word of. Instead of defining, you going to define positions. You can play with the position. But here thing is that if you going to swap this, that going to how long we are taking class here? I supposed to stop here because the video may be going to not buffer out. Okay, see you in next class. Bye bye.